Camera number 244 of 365 is the Nikon F601M. Now there was another variation, 601, which had autofocus. So this is a rather curious camera in that it doesn't have autofocus, has auto wind on, and so autofocus is not present. You have to focus, and yet you have to use a lens with a CPU, so an autofocus lens. So I suppose it appeals to those that prefer to have manual focus, but some of the benefits of the automaticness of the camera. Requires batteries to operate, or a battery to operate. It's this rather strange CRP2 battery. And then while we're on the base, we can rewind our film by using these two release and slider button. Tripod mount. Our lens release. So when you look through the viewfinder with an AF lens, you get a readout of the shutter speed and the aperture that's been chosen, and a confirmation green light for your focus. If you put a manual focus lens like this 50mm lens, it just reads the shutter speed, but not the F number, it just has F. So not very helpful at all, really. So interesting. Curiosity, perhaps. Let's just put that lens back on. So on the top, again, we have a shutter release, and our film is advanced automatically, but we have a provision for a manual cable release. We choose our aperture and shutter speeds, or in manual mode, through this dial, and presumably another button. Let's just put it in manual mode, shall we, by doing mode. It says aperture, so that changes the aperture. Oh no, it doesn't change the aperture, no, beg your pardon, you have to manually do that as well. So if we put it on manual, we then change the shutter speed, the aperture with the usual dial around the lens, and then presumably that's our shutter speed that we're changing, and we get a little indicator as to our exposure through the little graphic there, which again is featured inside the lens, the viewfinder rather. I don't think you can see that. You might just be able to make out the dial there. There you go. Let's put it on program, manual, aperture, shutter speed. Now shutter speed. The lens has to be put to 22 and locked, and then the shutter speed is operated, and then presumably the camera sets the aperture. Where else are we? Program mode. Again, that's shiftable, and then program mode, manual. Not sure what that is. Another program mode. Okay. We have provision for bracketing. We can set there. And then our drive mode is high, single, low. Okay. And then we can choose our ISO, even though the camera, I believe, has DX coding in it. Auto exposure lock, slider switch, and then our flash communicates with a flash. Doesn't include a flash on the camera, that's gone. That is present in the 601 auto camera. Exposure compensation button, our on-off button, and our command dial. It's quite a heavy camera, I must say. Of this particular set of cameras, they're all very similar plastic, but they're quite substantial cameras. So that's pretty much it, really. Very quick overview of the Nikon F601M, and that has been camera number 244 of 365.